Welcome to our April edition of School Talk. Today is a really special edition as we have Dr. Bill Cook, who is Rock Hill School District Superintendent-elect, and Dr. Al Leonard, who is the principal at South Pointe. So we have a great edition today, and welcome, Dr. Cook, to School Talk.
Thank you, Dr. Pew. Glad to be here.
I think this is your first episode with
Yes,
us.
ma'am.
Yeah, and you have many more to come as Superintendent-elect. Congratulations to you.
Thank you very much.
I know that I am excited that you are in this role and will be continuing to lead our district forward, as well as our families, our faculty, and staff. I know you're going to do great things. So for our viewers, tell us a little bit about your educational experience, because you have a vast experience in North Carolina, and then also you've been here in South Carolina with us for a few years.
Well, I started my teaching career in Union County, North Carolina, and spent the next 27 years in North Carolina working as a teacher, assistant principal at both the elementary and the high school levels. I taught high school, and then I served as a principal of 2 different elementary schools, and then opened a new high school in Union County, Marvin Rich High School, that continues to be a great school today. And then I left Union County after 27 years to become an assistant superintendent of curriculum instruction in Gaston County. Both those districts are very large districts in North Carolina, and then ultimately retired from North Carolina with over 30 years of service, and didn't plan to go back to work so quickly, but came and talked with the folks here in Rock Hill, and that was a little over 2 years ago, and have had an incredible journey under your leadership for the past 2 years. I've worked as the executive director of secondary schools, and working with our middle and high school principals, teachers, students, and our cabinet and other members of the district, and just really enjoyed this experience. This is such a special place, and you have created that tone, that climate here for people to be very successful and to do good things for students. And so it's been a great 2 years for me to leave North Carolina to begin a new journey in South Carolina.
Well, thank you for that. And I know that having that elementary, middle, and high school experience really does help a superintendent in the superintendent's role, because you do understand. Children are children, but there are differences with 4-year-olds and then our kids that are about to leave and go out into the world of work or into a 4-year college. What are some differences that you've noted between North Carolina and South Carolina? We're right by North Carolina, but I bet there are some things that are a little bit different in how we run our public schools.
Well, there have been some new learnings for me. I would also say that even moving from one large district in North Carolina to another large district, different positions, there were key learnings. So I think just to be willing to always be a learner and to be flexible, but moving from North Carolina to South Carolina, 2 things pretty much come to mind. One is budget. The budgets and how those are approached are a little differently, and who's involved in setting the budget and who impacts the budget, so a little differently there. And then I think another key area has been testing. There are now, I believe, some more similarities than differences with accountability model and the testing of students. North Carolina probably conducts more testing, but there are always some very finite points about testing North Carolina, and that I think is kind of being cemented with the accountability model that South Carolina is implementing this year. So I think there's some growing similarities, but those would be 2 key differences that I've noted in making the transition from one state to another.
You've worked specifically with our middle schools and our high schools over the last 2 years, and you've done some really great work with our principals and our schools. Tell us, what do you think is our greatest success right now in middle and high school? And then what's an area that you know as we move forward, because every school district has areas of improvement goals that they want to strive for. What would that be in middle and high school?
Well, I think number one, our middle and high, and I'm sure our other administrators are too. I just haven't had a chance to work as closely with them. But our middle and high school administrators are amazing leaders. They work very hard. They lead great staffs who really want to work on behalf of children. That is something that I witness every time I'm in one of our schools. We have a very committed, dedicated teaching staff, workforce who really want to make sure that all children succeed. So I think that's a great strength that we have in our district. I think that something I'm very proud of in our middle and high schools is that we are looking more at each individual child. I get a chance to go and meet with our middle school principals in particular, and we talk about individual children and how and what the school is doing, what teachers are doing to meet their needs. So I'm very proud of that work that we're doing. I think one of the issues that we have that we'll continue to work on, we've been working on it this year, and we'll continue to work is in the area of mathematics. I think we have a systemic challenge in K-12 mathematics and really wanting to increase our achievement in that area. We want our students to be, great problem solvers and communicators and mathematicians, and making sure that they can, meet, post whatever level they're on and being ready for the next grade level, being ready for post-secondary education or jobs that they decide to go into. So I think working in that area will be something we continue the work that you began and the focus that you began. And then I think working to make sure that we are meeting the needs of individual children at all ends of the spectrum. Our middle schools in particular have done some increased work in the area of our gifted students and trying to meet their needs. We're continuing certainly to work on our other subgroups of students, our special ed students, our regular students, just making sure that each student is being stretched to meet their potential. So those are some of the things that I think that I'm proud of and that we'll continue working on, work that we began under your leadership.
So 5 years from now, describe the Rock Hill School District that you would hope that people would hear about and see as they are making decisions about whether or not they want to move to a York County or Charlotte. What will you hope that they will see?
I want Rock Hill School District to be the choice for every parent. I want our schools to be safe places for our students, for our staff, for our parents who all enter. I want this to be a place where student achievement is celebrated and honored, that individual students want to come to school. They want to be here to learn the great things that our teachers can facilitate and share with them. I certainly want the school district to be one of the top performing school districts, not only in the state of South Carolina, but in our nation. And I really want to make sure that we're preparing our students for the world of work and to whatever their path of college and or career, that they're ready for that. Whatever that may mean for them, their choice, but that they're ready and that they can be a world-class citizen.
I know Rock Hill School District is fortunate to have you leading them as the new superintendent in the next couple of months, and I do congratulate you for that. I also want to share with you that you are in a wonderful place. We have a great board of trustees who care about every single child that's in this district. There is a wonderful community here that supports public education. So you're in a great place, and they are lucky to have you. So congratulations. I'll be watching you from afar, but I know you're going to do great things in Rock Hill.
Thank you, Dr. Pew. And could I kind of turn and ask you a couple of questions here?
Go ahead.
We, number one, appreciate your leadership that you have provided to this district. You've been an extraordinary mentor, I know, to me and to many others in the district. And on behalf of the 18,000 children and several thousand other adults, tell us a little bit about what you will miss most about being in Rock Hill School District.
There's no doubt that I will miss the kids. I hope that one thing that folks would always know is that no matter what decision we ever had to make in Rock Hill, that the safety and whatever about our children is our #1 priority always in every decision that we make. So I will miss the students. I certainly will miss the faculty, staff, the great people that I've had the opportunity to work with for the last 4 years, and this community. It's one of a kind. And so those are the things I think that I will miss the most.
Well, again, on behalf of thousands, we thank you for your
Thank
leadership. Thank you for your mentorship and the stewardship that you've provided to this district, and we look forward to continuing that partnership with you, even though it may be afar. So thank you for all you've done.
Thank you. Appreciate you. And when we come back, we'll have Dr. Leonard, principal of South Pointe High School, as he begins a new journey in retirement. And we'll be back. And welcome back. Dr. Cook and I are joined by Dr. Leonard, principal at South Pointe High School. Welcome. We're so glad that you're with us today.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here.
So after 34 years
Yes.
in education,
Yes.
31 of those here in Rock Hill,
Right.
you have decided to retire
I have.
and do some other things.
Yes.
Well, I want to congratulate you and personally in this opportunity, thank you so much for all that you have done for Rock Hill School District. If you think about the number of students that have been influenced by you in some way over these years, I don't even know that we can do that.
It's
A lot of them.
Yeah, an amazing opportunity. I'll never take that for granted. Rock Hill is an outstanding community, a great place to raise a family, which I had the opportunity to do. I told people jokingly when I came from Columbia, all I knew about Rock Hill was that you passed on way to Carowinds.
Yes.
But got here and just an amazing opportunity. So I feel blessed to have been here in Rock Hill.
So let's go to those first years.
Yes.
Tell us what you were doing. You were in the state of South Carolina, but you were not in Rock Hill at that time.
Right. I a recent graduate at that time at the University of South Carolina, but also started working on my degree in administration through the University of South Carolina, not really thinking about becoming an administrator, but as I started taking those courses and working at Lonnie B. Nelson Elementary in Richland II, I decided, I may be interested in administration because it will be an opportunity to impact more students. So I taught 2 years in an elementary school, but in order to broaden my base, requested a transfer within that district to a middle school. So in the 3 years, I had 3 years teaching experience and 3 years I finished my master's degree. Didn't feel like I was ready, but at that time the state offered the opportunity for a full-time administrative internship in a district where the district would get a full-time administrator at half a teacher's salary and I would get that full experience, and that brought me to Rock Hill. Dr. Gentry was the superintendent at that time. I can't say enough about him, but really gave me that opportunity. So in my 4th year, I was an intern at Rosewood for the first semester and an intern at Sullivan Junior High at that time for a semester. And then at the end of that experience, had the opportunity to be named principal of Rosewood Elementary at the age of 26.
Oh, wow.
It's a tremendous opportunity.
Absolutely. So I think it's really amazing that you started as an elementary teacher.
Yes.
Which is awesome, so that our students can have a benefit of having a male at an elementary. We don't often see that, and so that's great that you were able to start your career out in that way, and I know you had a positive impact on lots of elementary students, then going to the middle school and teaching. So your experience has been elementary, middle, and high.
Right, elementary, middle, and high, but you're exactly right. When I was not only just at the school being the only elementary male teacher, but in my program at USC, I don't know if there was another male in that particular program,
Right.
but loved that. Taught 4th grade, absolutely loved that experience.
That is great.
Yes.
So you were principal at Rosewood at
Right.
the age of 26. I
Right.
thought you were only 26 today.
Well, just a little, 40, so I'm
just
a
a
little
little
beyond
bit.
that.
So take us through your career, because you have been at a number of our schools.
Right.
You've influenced a lot of administrators. So share with us just a little bit about, so what was your path after Rosewood?
I was at Rosewood for 7 years, 7 great years. It was a nurturing environment. You could have to imagine, I was almost the youngest person on staff, but a very nurturing environment. I like to say I grew as a principal during that particular point. I always had a fear of complacency, so everything was going great, but I just wanted to change. So I requested, the position at Sullivan became available, so I requested the opportunity to interview for that. So that was a unique situation, and actually I went into become principal of a school where I did my internship prior to that. Then I was given the opportunity by Dr. McDaniel to become the first principal at Saluda Trail Middle School, which again I thoroughly really enjoyed that experience. Great things were going on there. And then in looking again, that fear of complacency is so subtle, and I didn't feel I want to ever get to that particular point. But so I knew at some point down the road I might be interested in doing something different. And then the opportunity for the high school came along, and it was ideal because, as you mentioned, I did not have any high school experience, but I had the opportunity to plan for a year. And not only that, the school would open with only 9th and 10th graders. So had I gone into a school that was already established as a high school, I would have been a fish out of the water. But that year to plan and starting small was just ideal. So really, really am enjoying my experience at South Pointe. So it was unique that I really had a lot of students that I had actually that came from Rosewood through Sullivan, and then from Saluda Trail, and seeing them graduate in high school. So it's been a wonderful career, wonderful experience.
So opening a new school is difficult.
Yes.
There's exciting things that occur, but there's also challenges in that. So share with us just a little bit, because there's probably some folks that are watching that might be interested in having a career path like yours. What are some of the challenges that you faced in opening a new school, and then what are some of the things that are celebrations in doing that?
I would say most of the challenges were made easier because I was in Rock Hill. Most of them stemmed around the construction aspect of it. A lot of times you may have great plans in place, but there may be some deadlines that were not met. So those were the most challenging parts of it. But the excitement far outweighed the challenges, and just starting something new. One of the things, for example, at Saluda Trail and South Pointe, we got students involved in selecting the mascot and the colors, and that's a unique bonding experience. So that was wonderful. And then more so at South Pointe, really had the opportunity to do research about effective high schools. And that year to plan, that's when we came up with the concept of the Freshman Academy. The IB program, AP program, as far as our philosophy, is pushing students to take those rigorous courses. So that was exciting, and then getting the people on the bus, so to speak, to help make it a reality, and just building a sense of family at each of the high schools. That's something that I really will treasure.
That's great. Dr. Cook and I have often shared with each other, you know your kids. You have a relationship with your kids at South Pointe. To stand with you out in the main hallway, and as students walk by, you being able to say their names and share with them great game, great play. Tell us how you do that, because there's more than 1,300 students at South Pointe. Dr. Cook and I both been principals and high school principals, and try to do the same thing, because that's important. How do you do that?
The older I get, the harder it gets. But it's all about relationships. I just know it's important. Students need to know that you care about them. I really have enjoyed supporting them in the academics, but also in the arts and athletics. And I know if you have that relationship with those individuals, it makes school a lot easier for them. You want them to feel comfortable. Every morning I stand in the hallway, I say good morning to each of them.
Yes,
and that starts the day. And I just know it's important. I know how I want my children to feel when they walk into a school, so I always want to make certain our students feel that way as well. But it's just wanting them to know that you really, really genuinely care about them. So I make that a point.
So another area that we know that you have really contributed to Rock Hill School District is in training administrators to become principals. So talk to us a little bit. I know you've got some that you're very, very proud of,
Right.
and they certainly believe that you shaped them into the excellent administrators they are. Tell us a little bit about those folks.
That really stems from what people did for me. I mean, I mentioned my experience at the elementary level when I taught. Dr. Roy Holloway encouraged this young teacher that really to go into administration. He said, you were having a positive impact with your class. Here's an opportunity to expand and have a larger impact. So I've always felt an obligation to do that. But I've stopped counting somewhere, but I think of the individuals that I brought into some type of administrative role, anywhere from 10 to 12 have gone on to become either principals or at the district level. Sylvia Berry was a teacher, I brought her in, now she's at the district level. Then Chris Beard, who's currently a principal, I think he may be retiring as well. We have Denise Khalid, Alyssa Cox, TK Kennedy, Kirsten Bird. There was a young lady that I brought in at Saluda Trail, Becky Quinn, who left to become a principal in Ohio. But the thing is, what I've tried to do is allow them to see the larger picture. I don't pigeonhole them. I let them see what the academic side of it, the finance side of it, dealing with, again, the discipline, the planning. And so my goal is to have them experience what it is like to be principal. And it starts really by hiring individuals who want to become principals. That's where it starts, and providing them with the opportunity. So when they come through and they interview, they're able to see the bigger picture. So that's one of the things I really am proudest of. And I have to admit, I'm even comfortable with a lot of them now calling me Paul. So they call me Paul now. But it's been great. And just knowing that we have the same philosophy, and that's a way, in my opinion, of still touching the future through those individuals. So very, very proud of that.
In addition to all those you named, you also have one that was named principal earlier in the year in another school district,
Yes.
and we hate to be losing him,
Yes.
but he's going home.
He is. Michael Belt just did an outstanding job, and we knew that he would be ready, and just did an outstanding job. Beaufort is getting an outstanding principal. Sorry to lose him here in this district, but the students at Beaufort will benefit from his expertise.
I admire a lot of things about you, but one of the things I really admire is that statewide, nationally, we know how well South Pointe has participated and succeeded in football. But in addition to that, you always talk about the character of students. Academics is always a priority for you.
Right.
You have students that go on to four-year colleges and are able to play athletics. Talk to us a little bit about that, because I think South Pointe is it 7 out of 10 years that they've either gone to the state championship or won the state championship?
Yeah, they've gone 7, came up short one year, but actually have won 6 championships.
6 out of 10, 10
yes,
years,
yeah.
right?
We started playing varsity ball in the fall of 2006, and that was just grades 9 through 11.
That's unheard of.
It
There's
really
not
is, it
another
really is.
school in the state, I don't think.
Yeah, and the thing is, it sounds strange, but that really helped get us off the ground in terms of school spirit. But after a while, we were known for athletics, and I just really wanted people to know us for the academic portion as well. So now I'm very pleased that they know us not only for athletics, but also for academics as well. So that's always been important to me. So that word has gotten out. So pleased with where we stand in that area.
And in addition to that, I'd be remiss, your arts program,
yes.
your band, your chorus,
Right.
your all of those things are, and really at all of our high schools. But you have the whole puzzle.
That is what it's about. And again, Rock Hill has high expectations for all of its schools in academics, the arts, and athletics. So I feel fortunate to be in a district that has provided support. It's one thing to have high expectations. It's another thing to give you the resources necessary to achieve those high expectations. And Rock Hill has done that from day one.
So, public education over the last few years have really had some challenges as it relates to funding, school safety, our students performing well on national and state assessments, and really being college and career ready. And our state superintendent has really focused on that. Tell us some things that maybe you are hopeful for with public education as we move forward. And then is there anything that as a principal who's been in this profession for a lot of years that you have concerns about as it relates in general to public education? I
just really wish the word would get out as far as the great things that are going on in education. A lot of times people hear about the negative and they assume there are lots of negatives that are out there. But there are great things going on in education. One of the things that I would hope would improve would be the level of funding. We get a lot of unfunded mandates, and it's not supported in terms of the funds provided to achieve some of those things. Again, Rock Hill is fortunate that we're able to do it, but I'm just looking across the state in terms of the funding being adequate. What concerns me is that just society's changing in terms of social media. When I started, I remember when the first emails went out, which was unique. I remember standing around a computer and saying, oh my gosh, we're sending something electronically. We've gone way beyond that. And I guess my concern would be just making certain that even with all the technology that is out there, that relationships need to be the mainstay of all that we do. So individuals who want to get into this, it has to be about doing what's best for each and every child and establishing those relationships, meeting students where they are, and giving them the tools necessary to be successful. So that just needs to be a priority.
What is something that you're most proud of with public education?
Gosh, I really am, and just taking a look at my experiences here in Rock Hill, I'm just proud of the fact that we try to meet the needs of our students, that we provide our students with the opportunities to be successful, and that those students tend to go on and to become successful. So I feel the future for education is bright, particularly here in Rock Hill.
I want to talk to you personally for just a minute.
Okay.
I want you to share with us about your children, because they are products
Yes.
of Rock Hill School District,
Right.
products of great parents who supported them. But tell us a little bit about your kids and what they're doing.
Sure. My son, Trey, graduated from Northwestern in 2007, went to University of South Carolina, got his degree in computer information systems, and is working with IT in a company in Charlotte, so he's doing well. My daughter, Allison, is a 2010 graduate of South Pointe, followed in her mom's footsteps, and she got her doctorate of pharmacy degree a couple of years ago, and rather than going into retail, she decided she wanted to work in a hospital. So she's currently completing year 2 of a residency in oncology at Moses Cone Hospital in Wake Forest. So she will be interviewing, but she will be a specialist in oncology and pharmacy. So very, very proud of those individuals. And as you said, each of them is a product of Rock Hill Schools.
That they are a great testament to you and to your wife, and certainly to Rock Hill Schools and the teachers that they had that made a difference in their lives. Well, Dr. Cook is sitting right here with us, and I know he's ready to have a chance to ask some questions. So Dr. Cook, I'm going to give you that opportunity with Dr. Leonard. You've worked with him for a couple of years as Executive Director of Secondary Education. So,
well, Dr. Leonard, it's a privilege and an honor to be in your presence. I'm sure you remember over 2 years ago, you sat in my first interview of coming and interviewing with Rock Hill School District to become a part of that. So I want to say thank you for that opportunity that you gave me then. And then you've just been an amazing administrator to work with over the past 2 years. So really say that how much I'm impressed with you by what you do.
Thank you.
But you are one of those few people that really, truly, talk the talk and walk the walk, and what you have shared this morning about your family and about your years of experience is just so impressive. And just know you will be missed in this position, but what a legacy you have left to carry on and for people to try and do just a little bit of what you've accomplished. So say thank you on so many levels. Really appreciate it.
I really appreciate that. And one of the things I've been really proud of is the fact that Rock Hill has had some outstanding superintendents. Dr. Gentry, followed by Dr. McDaniel, Dr. Bridges, Dr. Moody, Dr. Pew, and I know, knowing in my relationship with you and having worked with you closely, I know that will continue. So I'm very pleased that you've gotten the opportunity, and I know you will do an outstanding job, and I look forward to witnessing it from afar.
Well, you've brought up some really good points, and so with the many folks that you have mentored over the years and people that you've worked with and all 3 levels that you've worked, what advice would you give to a new administrator and even to a new teacher? What would you want them to know about their beginning their career in Rock Hill School District in particular?
Really, it really boils down to wanting to meet the individual needs of your students. It's about those standards and making sure that you're teaching the right content, the right content is being taught, and that it's emphasized, that you are pushing all students, but certainly those students who are mastering concepts, making sure you provide opportunities for them to become more enriched in that particular area, and also providing assistance to those individuals. So the days of when I started, where it was emphasized just in general how students perform, they're long gone, and thankfully so. And now it's about meeting the individual needs. And I also believe in building leaders within the school. Schools are too large for one person to be the leader. I've always tried to facilitate leadership. And I've always been comfortable with the fact that there may be individuals within the school that may know more about certain content area than I do. I'm comfortable with that. But what you try to do is bring them to the table, pick their brains, and then you make better decisions. So the goal should be to meet the individual needs of students in order to make sure that they're successful after they leave high school.
That's a great point and lead into the next question. And during your time at South Pointe, you've worked really hard to become or have a STEAM focus and a convergence media presence. And so for those who may not know it necessarily a lot about either one of those, could you talk a little bit about what that means to South Pointe and what you're really trying to accomplish through those 2?
Sure. STEAM stands for Science, Technology, Engineering, Arts, and Mathematics. And the goal, long story short, is really to have that philosophy filter through all the courses. So regardless of what course you're in, be it art or chorus, whatever, that actually is infiltrated throughout all the courses, emphasis on the standards, and also looking toward the profile of the South Carolina graduate. The convergence media is really allowing the vehicle to really communicate through the journalism department, with the yearbook, and just really getting the story out there. So that's something that I had in mind 10 years ago when I saw it at Richland Northeast High School, and STEAM gave us the opportunity to get the equipment in order to make that successful. So really pleased that the infrastructure is in place for that to continue.
Well, you've always been a visionary since I've known you, and I know that as part of this initiative and what you've done there, so congratulations. As you think about moving on, what types of characteristics would you hope that the next leader, as the district begins its journey to find a replacement for you, what kind of characteristics would you hope we would look for in the next leader of South Pointe High School?
I keep coming back to that relationships piece.
Okay.
Really taking a look at what is going on at South Pointe within the district. I personally feel good about the direction that it's heading on, but yet I'm realistic in knowing that there'll be individuals do things differently, and I think that's I think that's good to look at through different eyes. But certainly the infrastructure is in place, the support is in place to continue that STEAM initiative, and again, just really building upon those leaders within the school. So I think the foundation has been laid, so I'm looking for somebody to come in and build upon that.
Awesome. Well, it'll be a very difficult situation for us to find someone like you, but we're going to work really hard to make sure that our students and parents at South Pointe have a good next leader. So we look forward to and for working with them. Final question. Sorry, go ahead.
Dr. Cook and Dr. Leonard, I want to thank you for being with us today and to congratulate you once again on your retirement and all that you've done for Rock Hill. You have left a legacy, and we appreciate you.
Thank you so much.
I'd like to also thank Ms. Mensinger's class at the Applied Technology Center, specifically Lexi Honeycutt, who is today's director. And be sure to tune in May when we have my favorite episode. We will have students from South Pointe High School, Northwestern High School, and Rock Hill High School. So be sure to join us in May.